Why do people purposefully steer clear of Luxembourg? The country ranks pretty high when talking about the standards of living. The quality of life is great, and a lot of the locals live there comfortably. But surprisingly, there are several reasons why many people simply don't move to Luxembourg. And today, we'll look at 10 reasons why this happens. 10. Expensive housing. You can find several houses that are up for grabs, so there's no shortage of places to live. Most of them can be found in great locations, and the standard of living is pretty high. But as soon as you look at the prices, you can almost feel your wallet emptying. Residence in Luxembourg is extremely expensive, and not everyone is rolling in enough dough to snag a pricey property. Even renting a cozy studio in the suburbs will set you back 1,400 euros every single month. Setting this amount aside is very hard, especially if you're young and just beginning your career in the country. Plus, if you've moved with your family and are looking for a bigger place to live, expenses will get very tough to manage. Most people who want to move to the region would rather move to Germany, where housing is a lot cheaper compared to Luxembourg. So no matter how great it must be to live in Luxembourg, there's no point in thinking about moving if you can't afford it in the first place. 9. Cost of living. Just like housing, everything else can get super expensive as well. Everyday items like food and groceries will drain your funds quicker than you can expect. And it's not just a minor difference in costs. Most people who live there try not to get their items locally. Instead, they dash across borders to snag deals. This may be one of the very few places in the world where shopping from abroad saves them money. Like everywhere else in the world, inflation also has been rising in Luxembourg, which has only made costs even worse. This is mostly fueled by index hikes. As costs increase for companies and business owners, they pass this on to the buyer, who in turn has to pay more for products. Several other countries around the world offer lower costs of living, and if someone is planning to move on a tight budget, Luxembourg is a place they should stay clear of. 8. It's hard to find jobs. Now, don't get me wrong, there are several job opportunities that you can avail, but the job market isn't the same as it used to be a few years ago. The pay is pretty satisfactory, with the legal minimum wage cruising comfortably above 2,000 euros each month. This might even make managing expenses easy for a lot of people. Luxembourg's not just a tiny country, it's a tourist hotspot. This newfound fame comes with a twist though, as jobs are getting picky, demanding language fluency and a large number of qualifications. Several people might not have the high level of experience that Luxembourg jobs demand. So it isn't about the lack of jobs, it's about the lack of suitable jobs where an average person faces severe difficulty finding a job that matches their qualification. Now, if you're thinking of diving into unskilled gigs, especially in the field of hospitality, it's going to be a tough ride for you. The paycheck barely covers the basics. You could afford rent and groceries, but you'll be left with nothing to save or to spend on leisure. Plus, speaking only English won't always cut it. In a country where French and German are prevalent, scoring a job without mastering one of these languages is almost impossible. Being monolingual will get you nothing in Luxembourg, so people who aren't especially proficient in languages mostly stay away from this country. 7. The disparity between locals and foreigners. Most of the locals in Luxembourg are very detached from the non-locals in the region. They live in the posh public sector where the cash flows, and they usually only interact with people in their circle of earnings and wealth. And it's not just a small part of the population. Almost 90,000 out of 115,000 Luxembourgers have bagged those civil servant badges, which lets them maintain a comfortable standard of living. For many Luxembourgers, it's all about those stable admin or public sector jobs. So it's no surprise that most Luxembourg locals have their own ways of communicating with each other. It's like they've all got this secret language, and if you're a foreigner, you end up in your little corner hanging out with fellow outsiders. The local language is almost like trying to solve a puzzle, and they don't try to make it easy for you to get involved with them. Instead of integrating into society, whoever moved there feels like they're living in parallel universes. Luxembourgers in one, foreigners in another. The only ray of hope people might see is that 45% of the people in Luxembourg are expats, so you may not need to interact with the locals at all. Still, you'll get to learn nothing about the culture there if you don't mingle with the locals, which is why you'd never feel at home. 6. The visa system is tricky. Now, even if you decide to move to Luxembourg and you're ready with your bags packed, it won't be that easy. At this point, things will get super complicated with the visa business that you'll have to handle. Luxembourg, being a part of the EU, has its visa game on a tiered system. If you're an EU citizen, lucky you. You won't have to face any visa drama. But you will still have to get a registration certificate after 3 months of living in Luxembourg. Now, if you're from the UK, you can chill in Luxembourg for 3 months visa-free, but if you want to work, it won't be that simple. Before entering the country, you will have to get a temporary pass from the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs. Plus, you'll need a job offer in your back pocket before starting this visa journey. After that, you can eventually get your hands on a residence permit. But in case you aren't from the EU or London, the system is not designed to make things easy for you. Getting a work visa in particular will be almost impossible. In short, your employer would need to interact with the authorities and proclaim that they couldn't find anyone else with your qualifications in all of the EU. You simply have to charm the official big shots for a work visa, and if you want to stay and keep working, you need to earn over $2,000 a month. And don't even get me started on the paperwork. You have to fill up so many forms that most people just give up trying to move there. Sounds messed up, but that's exactly why most people wouldn't move to the country. 5. Citizenship is tough. To cut things short, there's no ticket to Luxembourg citizenship through cash. If you move there and you like things enough to want to stay there forever, they certainly will not make that decision easy for you. There are several options for you to get your citizenship, one of which is through family ties. If you have Luxembourgish kin, it's the easiest way to get your citizenship. The second option is citizenship by naturalization, which means that you have to live there for a long while and prove that you're valuable to the country. The issue resides in the fact that you have to spend at least 7 years living in Luxembourg to be eligible for citizenship. You can't vanish in between, and once you've completed your period, you can hit up the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to start your long-term resident status. However, there are several conditions attached to this process. For starters, you need to be at least 18 years old, which is fine, but then you also have to pass a speaking test, where you should be fully fluent in the Luxembourg dialect and language. It will also be mandatory for you to take 3 civil instruction classes so that you're well aware of Luxembourg's culture and also meet their expectations of a squeaky clean residency record. If any of these things are missing, you simply can't apply for citizenship, which is scary enough to make people stay away from Luxembourg altogether. 4. It can be boring. This is how Luxembourg is perceived by the outside world. You will find several Reddit threads talking about how boring the country is. But why? Well, you'll feel the same way if you're a fan of the nightlife. If you enjoy going out, drinking, and partying, Luxembourg doesn't get into any of that stuff. They go to bed early and wake up early, which is why there are barely any bars or nightclubs in the entire country. 3. Lack of good educational institutes. Now, don't get me wrong, the standard of education is super high in the country, just like in the rest of Western Europe. The issue lies in the fact that there are only 2 universities in the country, one of which is state-owned and the other is private. It can be almost impossible for a foreign student to get enrolled in one of these universities, as they are highly competitive and preference is given to local students. It's also extremely difficult to acquire a student visa, so you won't see a lot of young people moving to Luxembourg for higher studies. 2. Bad climate. Most people plan to relocate when they are tired of harsh, cold environments. A warm country offers comfort and is a huge attraction for foreigners, but that's where Luxembourg loses the battle. You will rarely find the sun shining in this country, and most of the time it's cloudy and rainy. If you like the prospect of always having to walk around with an emergency umbrella and a raincoat, you might like this place. Otherwise, you won't. 1. Kids definitely won't like it. If you've got a family, you would know that relocation has to offer advantages for every member of the family. Entertainment is crucial for kids to settle into a new place, and Luxembourg lacks in that sector severely. There are no amusement parks or theme parks in the country, which means that on a weekend, your kids simply won't know what to do. Then there's the lack of coastline and access to the sea. Living in a landlocked country makes entertainment even harder to come by, and most people wouldn't want to move there because there is nothing to do for fun. Do you think Luxembourg has any redeeming qualities? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, do us a solid and smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to know about more upcoming content. Buckle up, folks, because there's a lot we have in store for you.